Hello and welcome to the PC Security channel. Well, today I've got a new product to test, that is Bullguard Internet Security. You might be familiar with this product. It is another one of those paid AVs using the Bitdefender engine. Now, what I'm interested to see is how they implement that in their product, how it works, and also how it deals with zero-day threats or unknown malware that is not currently in the Bitdefender signatures. They also have a safe browsing feature which blocks malicious websites, and a firewall which does pop up quite often, but they have rules, which means most of the time the alerts are just notifications. You don't have to take any action, so it's fairly automated, not a big problem. Now, it has a lot of other features like backup, vulnerability scan, PC tune-up, parental controls, spam filter, but I'll mostly be going over the antivirus and firewall. Now, one nice thing about this user interface is that it has two separate settings for basic and advanced users, so basically it keeps everyone happy. And that is good, because sometimes you get these products where you don't get too many settings, and sometimes it's just too scary to start with. But this is perfect, because if you are a basic user, you can just go in here and you'll see nothing much. But if you're advanced, you can get to deal with all the advanced settings. However, it's still a little too basic for me, even in advanced mode. But there are some things that you can fine-tune according to your needs, like the firewall. It's got some kind of attack detection, mostly blocking online attacks. I don't think it has a host intrusion prevention system, but that's okay because they have a behavioral scanning engine, so that should be able to protect us against zero-day malware if it works correctly. And that's it. This is their zero-day defense, behavioral blocking. So the basic user interface is pretty good. It's good eye candy. I like the colors and the fonts. Pretty much everything is appealing visually. However, in some places I just feel that the font should have been a little bit bigger. It does appear a little too small of a user interface to me, and it cannot be resized. So maybe they could make some of these things a little bit bigger. But apart from that, it's a very good user interface. I don't have too many problems with it. So let's make sure that the product is up to date. And it is. So now let's see what kind of resource usage they have in here. As you can see, it's fairly light. It's only using about 40 megabytes. And that's fairly light for a security suite, considering all the other paid AVs that use much more RAM. So this is very light. And I haven't seen too much of an impact on the system either, so I'll give you that. Bullguard is pretty light. Now let's get to the important part, that is the testing stage. So this is the online prevention test. So as you can see, Bullguard Firewall gives an alert, but it's nothing to worry about because it's automatically allowed because it's in their rules. So here's the malware that we'll be testing with. We've got, I don't know, around 7 or 8 links, and these are all fairly fresh, and some of these are low detection malware, so it should be a good test, and we should be able to see if Bullguard can protect us or not. So here goes the first link. Gets past their safe browsing, but doesn't get past the antivirus. So Bullguard antivirus blocks it. I shouldn't be able to run it, and I can't. So first strike for the Bullguard. Sounds very familiar to Bulldog, and lots of people have bulldogs to guard their houses, so I guess it makes sense. The second website is blocked by their safe browsing feature, which is good to see. Let's try out the third one. I believe this is a double extension file. Yep, rar.jpg, and let's go ahead and download this, because this looks totally legit to me. And it's blocked. So Bullguard won't let me download this file. That's good. as you can see, it does pop up quite a few times, the firewall, for different applications, but mostly it's automatically allowed, so you don't have to do anything much. Now this, I believe, is some kind of adware, but it was caught and blocked. That is good. So that's the end of that. This is a zip file, and it's on Google storage, so I guess it should be taken down fairly quickly. Let's save this onto the desktop. And once again, Bullguard blocks it, so that is good news. This is another piece of adware. Let's try running it. No alert from Bullguard, so it looks like this file is not in their signatures, and wow, what is this? The installer says the system doesn't have the minimum requirements. Wow, so nowadays we need minimum system requirements, guys, to install adware. So to install adware, you need a fast computer. Wow. Never seen that before. So basically, I'll count this as a dead link. This should be blocked. It's a fairly common domain, and it is, by safe browsing. Kind of expected that to happen. That's why I only got one of those links. Let's try this one out. This is a new malicious URL, and the file is blocked. So, a good job by Bullguard. It didn't block the... This one was blocked by Bullguard, so I deleted the partial file over here. And yeah, it did a pretty good job, excluding this one adware that it missed, but it didn't work out anyway, so I'll give Bullguard a clean sheet in this part of the test. So not too bad. In fact, pretty good. But let's see how it deals with our malware samples. So for that, I have to disable the antivirus. It's not easy doing that. I don't see an option in here. So I have to come over here to disable the AV. That's something I don't like. But then again, who disables the AV anyway? So here I've got some really good samples. These are fairly new, just from today. You can technically consider them zero-day malware too if you like. And there are 512 items, so it should be a good test. Now, since it does use the Bitdefender engine, I would expect a pretty high detection ratio, which is pretty much, we're used to seeing that from Bitdefender, but let's see if Bullguard can do any better. So, we've got 512 items. I'm going to show you guys here that all of these are indeed there. Here they are, all this nice malware, waiting to make this PC their home. And here comes the Bulldog to fight against it. So I'm going to do the scan, and let's see how quick the scan is. That's something that we should keep an eye out for. It does seem fairly fast. In fact, it seems just like Bitdefender. It's not really fast. It's not really slow. It's a little bit on the fast side, I would still say. So as you can see, it's detecting all this malware. And I like their scan interface. It's so small and minimalistic. Doesn't really scare you or anything like that. That's nice. I'm sure a lot of basic users would like this. So it found 501 issues. Just took 34 seconds to scan. And let's fix them. And it fixes them automatically. Not much you can do. Again, these are places where I'd like some more user intervention maybe. But I guess this is meant for basic users. It's made keeping those type of users in mind. So I really like this user interface for inexperienced users, because basically it doesn't scare them at all, and you know, they can just know what they need to know. They just hit fix, and it's fixing them. And once it's done, I guess you just get close, and you can close the window. Fairly simple. However, I'm not too happy with the removal speed. Just like Bitdefender, the removal seems to be a little bit slow. So I'll pause the video and I'll be right back to see how many samples it caught. Bullguard has finally completed cleaning. It took a really long time, so the removal speed was really slow compared to the scan speed. However, I don't think this is a very major issue. because nobody's going to have to remove 501 items every day. But anyway, that's one thing to note. But it says it couldn't fix some of the items. Now, I don't know what it's supposed to mean. I mean, what does it expect me to do? Because it's not really telling me that, it's not giving me any instructions to fix these items or anything. So I'll just hit close, what everyone else would do as well, I guess. And I'll consider those things as missed for now. So let's go ahead and see what's left over. We've got 102 items, so that's quite a lot. And let me try to calculate the detection ratio here, 512, and we're left with 102. So that is a detection ratio of 80.07%. Not so impressive. So this makes me believe that they're just either plain using Bitdefender's signatures, or maybe they're not even using the entire Bitdefender signatures. Because if this was a true dual engine product, or even an advanced version of, or an improved version of Bitdefender, I'm pretty sure it would catch a lot more than this. So anyway, let's go ahead and re-enable their product. So I'm going to go into settings, antivirus, and everything's turned on. And we're ready to go. So let's see if their behavioral blocking lives up to its name and blocks some of these malware based on their behavior. So let us start running them. We've got plenty to do. Here goes one. And that's good to see. Bullguard has suspended the suspicious process until you choose an action. So I'm going to quarantine that. So this one was caught by their behavior blocker, I would suspect. This one is also blocked, so that is really good news. Although the detection ratio wasn't so good, it looks like it does have some kind of blocking behind it. Well, this one was allowed to access the internet. This doesn't look like a friendly file either. Reminds me of the VBS worm. That wasn't a good thing. And looks like some of these are working just fine. I'm not getting any more alerts. Here's one more, probably some fake thing that disguises itself as Java. It's definitely not Java, I can tell you that. This was automatically granted access. As far as I'm seeing, the firewall is just automatically granting access to pretty much every file, because these are not signed, these are not known. So I don't know on what basis it decided to automatically allow that file. This thing just failed. Okay, I'm seeing some alert. And it looks like Bullguard blocked another infected file. So their zero-day component does work, although it doesn't look like the most effective zero-day component I've ever seen. Some of these files are running, and I'm sure we can see some over here in the task manager. But it looks like we haven't got anything major so far. So far, most of the major things have been blocked. So that is some good news. Lots of these may have been designed for Windows 7, so they won't work correctly on this Windows 8 computer. Well, as we saw in the link test, nowadays malware has specifications as well. There's like a Trojan waiting, and he says, hey, I'm not going to infect this slow computer. I'm going to find a good one for myself. So, malware also is getting choosy these days. Okay, Bullguard blocked that one, so it didn't get its choice granted. Well, I'm definitely seeing some stuff running here. I'm not sure if they're actually being able to do something. But a lot of these are very much alive and working. I didn't see any alert on that one. I have seen Bullguard block quite a few of these, but not each one of them. I'm seeing some activity that is not being reported to me by Bullguard, but maybe that's because some of these are not working correctly. Could be the case. As I said, this is okay. So here's another one that didn't like my system. Oh, that's so sad. Go find a better system for yourself. Alright, that one seemed to have done something. Okay, this one just opens up Notepad. It's interesting to see that although we're running so many files, I haven't got too many processes in here. But that has definitely got nothing to do with Bullguard. Because I don't think it has any way of automatically blocking something without telling me. Once again, I don't have the minimum requirements to run that malware. I'm so sorry, everyone. This is the best I could manage. Okay, there's some kind of adware. It was signed. And it was... Okay, finally I get an alert. So it says this thing is asking for access to the internet. If you don't recognize this program, this is your chance to block it from reaching the network. So, okay, this is my chance, so I'm going to take the credit for it. So I can either allow once, or block. So what would a regular user do? Now, considering that Bullguard did block a lot of the other files with its behavior blocker, and still, I've seen a lot of files run, and the firewall alert pops up, but it always automatically allows it. So I don't think you're going to get this alert too many times. So I assume every time you get it, you're going to hit block, because this doesn't usually pop up when you run a safe application. So I'm going to block that, and that should have stopped the adware from coming down to my computer. Or maybe just the adware wouldn't have liked it anyway, because it's not a fast computer, it's just a VM running 2 or 3 gigs of RAM, 2 cores of an i5. So I guess the malware doesn't like these specs. They want better. They want 8-core processors. So nowadays you have to buy a good computer even if you want to run malware on it. Well, I guess that's enough. That's that. I'm going to stop here and I'll reboot the system, get rid of all these files, run CCleaner, and run a couple of second opinion scanners, and then we can finally decide if Bullguard did well enough. Well, I cut this process a little bit short, and I just did a Hitman Pro scan, and I didn't scan with Malwarebytes, because I have a suspicion that the malware didn't do its job correctly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do an individual behavior blocker test, as I did in my last review as well, because it's important to see if they can actually deal with unknown malware. So I'm just going to basically disable their file scanning, but I'm going to keep their behavioral blocking turned on. I'm also going to disable web traffic. I'm going to disable everything because I'm not going to be needing any of these. So we're basically just going to test out their behavior blocker to see how it reacts to unknown files. So I'm going to grab like 10-15 files and we'll try running them and see if the behavioral blocker can block them, which is important because let's say you didn't have a signature for any of those files. Right now it does, and it's very difficult for me to specifically find files that it doesn't have signatures for. So I'm going to grab some and I'm going to run them with the behavior blocker turned on. because zero-day malware blocking is pretty important these days, and I know some of you may whine that why are you doing these tests, but it doesn't make sense. The signatures would catch them, but what if we get a variant that is just slightly different and the signatures doesn't catch it, right? So that is a possible scenario which we'll be testing very shortly. Alright, so we've got some malware files here. Let's go ahead and run them. Let me just show you that the behavior blocker is indeed turned on. There you go. Behavior blocker is still turned on, although their scanner is off. So let's see if that can block all these files. Because this is more of a real security test for me. I mean, I know that this product has done decent up till now, but I really want to see how good it is against unknown malware, because, well, I want to see if it's top of the line or not. And so far it doesn't look that way, because it looks like it's let this malware file straight through. Let's try running this one. Okay, this one was blocked. I'm going to quarantine that. So that's some good news. That one got caught too, I guess. So it does respond. Let's try running this one. Here's one more that was caught. We'll go ahead and quarantine. Wants me to reboot, but I'll reboot after running all of these. This was automatically... No, it wasn't automatically granted access. It wants me to decide, and I'm going to hit block. Because it hasn't given me too many false positives. Even when I ran Hitman Pro, it didn't tell me, or it didn't ask me whether or not I should allow it. It was automatically allowed, so... Okay, here's another behavior blocker alert. So these are the last of the files. Let's see if they're running. Well, we definitely have some stuff running here, chewing at the CPU. Well, I just flagged this process straight away because it's taking a lot of CPU here. And there may be some other stuff going around too that we're unaware of. So basically I'm just going to pause this video and let the system run around, and maybe Bullguard is going to catch some. So I'll be right back after a while. If it doesn't ever pop up, I'm just going to restart and run the scans again. Okay, so Hitman Pro just found one file, system.exe, very legit, in app data. So it's a Trojan. I'm not happy that the behavior blocker didn't catch it, because it's very much active in the system. And these are the results of Malwarebytes. The same file, system.exe here. It's called spyware password. I don't know what this means. This is probably some kind of spyware that is going to, maybe it's kind of like a keylogger that is going to try to steal your passwords of whatever you type on your keyboard. It's going to, basically just send that data over to whoever made it. And then we've got some registry keys. In fact, we've just got one registry key. Yeah, that's just one. And these are just several detections for the same name. System.exe, it's a file, it's a process. Then we've got a folder. So basically two types of infections. The spyware password and then this Trojan agent, which has been eating a ton of CPU and making the system very hard to use. So both of these are pretty major infections. I wouldn't want either of these on my system. But considering all this, what is the final verdict for Bullguard? Well, it definitely did quite well. It impressed in pretty much the net result, but it's not unbreachable. I wouldn't still call it the best or even not top of the line yet. It's almost there. I'd consider it as a valid alternative to Bitdefender. It's pretty good. It does its job well. As you saw, we didn't get that badly infected considering we ran so many files, and it only had its behavior blocker to block these. And that's not a bad result for a behavior blocker, because keep in mind, most products don't even have a behavior blocker. So even if it was able to catch like 7 or 8 out of 10 files or something like that, that is not a bad result. So it did its job okay. I was a bit disappointed with the detection ratio. I think they could maybe improve their scanning engine a little bit, maybe add some signatures themselves. Because of the low RAM usage, I have a suspicion that it may not be using the entire database of Bitdefender, maybe just a part of it. So signatures weren't as good as I was expecting them to be. But at the same time, their zero-day component worked pretty well. It prevented a lot of infections, but not everything. And I have seen better zero-day components than this. So yes, this is good. Is this great? Is it the best? No, it's not quite there, but it's a pretty good solution, and it's good for an everyday user. It's almost entirely automated. You don't have to answer too many alerts, and if you like the user interface, I mean, why not? So you can use this. However, this is not one of the best products, I would believe, but it's still good and very much usable. So I hope you guys got that one right. Have a nice day. Thanks for watching. Comment, rate, and subscribe. And keep the suggestions coming. I have a lot of plans to release some videos next. So stay tuned, stay informed, and stay secure.